So during the blockade of Leningrad, the blockade lasted for 900 days. And I was 9 years old when the war began. The blockade began in September, on the 11th of September, 1941. And very soon, Badaevsky sklady, so the place where food was kept, those buildings were fired. They were bombed and there was fire. So we didn't have any food, anything. We didn't have anything to eat. And very soon, that began on, it seems to me, in November 1941, when we, children, got 125 grams of bread. But that was not bread, real bread. Olga Bergoltz, the poet who lived during the blockade in Leningrad, she wrote 125 блокадных грамм с огнем и кровью пополам. 125 gram of bread made from blood and fire, she said. So we were three in the family, 3 children. I was the eldest. I was 9 when the war began, and my brother was 6, and we had a small sister. She was born in November 1940, before the war. So, a lot of people died during the blockade because we didn't have anything to eat. There was nothing to eat. And I remember the day. That was on the eve of 1942. My mother went to she wanted to buy something. We didn't have anything to eat. And on the eve of the New Year, they promised to give us, for us children, a piece of chocolate, a small piece of chocolate, a gift for the New Year, and something else. So I was alone in the apartment that was, in Russian we called коммунальные квартиры. That means many people lived in this apartment, and every family had one room in the apartment. We had, I don't remember, maybe 7 or 8 families. And there was one restroom, certainly no bathroom, no bath, certainly. And so, on the eve of 1942, I was left at home alone with my brother and with my little sister Inechka. Inechka was 1 year, so 13 months at that time. Mother left, and we were only 3 in the apartment. Once it used to be a big apartment, but some people died from hunger, some people died because of bombing, some people worked at hospitals and they didn't go home, some people from the apartment. So we were left, 3 of us, in this cold apartment. The frost was awful. That was nearly 40 grades Celsius, 40 grades. Fahrenheit, I don't know. And we didn't have any heat, certainly. And Mother left. She was going to buy something for us to eat. Father was at the front, at the Leningrad front. And I remember that we were hungry, cold, and, unfortunate, because we didn't know, will Mother return or not? because very many mothers left. They went shopping, they went, not shopping, they went to buy something, and some of them fell down because of hunger, some because of cold, because of bombing, because of shooting. So many mothers didn't come back to their children. And I remember that night, there was one room from where the family left. So father evacuated his wife and 2 children. They were evacuated. And I and my brother, Inechka was lying on bed, certainly. She was sleeping, she was crying with hunger. And we went into their room and we saw a small bed where their child, he was approximately 1 year old. But now they were not, they were evacuated. We went to that bed and we found a piece of bread, small, little piece of bread that was korочка хлеба. Do you understand korочка?
No.
Korочка.
Like the edge, like the
Bread, korочка.
the edge of the bread.
Yes. And this,
The crust.
The crust, yes.
and this piece of bread was many times urinated by this boy.
Oh.
Yes, oh, that was delicious. You say, oh, it's the most delicious thing that I ate during my life, in my life. This, we didn't eat it, we only licked
it.
I gave it to lick to Inechka, I gave it to lick to my brother, and I licked it by myself. In the morning, I don't remember what time, but in the morning my mother came back with some food for us. She came back. Why did she didn't come for such a long time? Because the shop that was near to us, it was bombed. And she was looking, not only she, many mothers, they were looking for some other shop to buy something. Then, in 1942, I remember that was on the 23rd of February, I was holding my little sister Inechka in my arms. She cried, and then she stopped crying. She was dead. So Inechka passed away in my arms, and after that, in March, we were evacuated on the road of life that was called Дорога жизни, road of life. The frost was awful. We were evacuated in the грузовики, trucks.
Vans.
Yes, trucks.
This was from Leningrad
From Leningrad
to where?
to Volkhov, I think. I'm not sure. It seems to me to Volkhov. On the Volkhov, yes. And so we were 2 children. My mother and my brother, who was 3 years younger, and I. So we were taken to big land, большая земля. And then we went to Gorky, where my father's parents lived. And new life began. Very, very difficult, because we didn't have to eat enough, certainly. We were hungry very often, but certainly not in that way that we were in Leningrad, in the blockaded Leningrad.
How long were you in Gorky?
In Gorky, I think for 2 years. in 1944, in June, we came back to Leningrad. And I remember, do you know Moskovsky Vokzal? Moskovsky terminal, railway station. When we left, I remember we went to Nevsky, and it was empty. There were no people. I remember empty Leningrad. But then
No people.
in 1945 people began. After the war ended, people began to come back to Leningrad. So that was the blockade. More than 1 million, 1.5 million died from hunger, bombing,
In the
cold,
900 days.
shooting in Leningrad. More than 1.5 million. 1,5 million.
Well, thank you so much, Asya, for telling us that. I had heard this story before, but you didn't write it down, and now it's preserved.
Emechka asked me, please,
Yes.
write down
Yes.
everything, but
Yes.
I didn't. I know that she was a great writer.
Oh, yeah.
She was a great
We're going
writer.
to finish this, and then I'll show you some of the things she wrote. She wrote an
Alright.
88-page